Elevate your new week, fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update, Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis, and the most attention-grabbing lines, Deciphering World Event.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Hello, viewers around the world. You are welcome to a beautiful edition of the program Between the Lines. Between the Lines is our Monday news starter. My name is Godwin Iweajunwa, and I'm here with my colleagues as usual. In Lagos, Nigeria is Ogbeni Olayinka. How are you, big man? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yes, at the point I thought probably we'll miss our program. The conversation was going behind the scene, and that wasn't too bad. So how's the week start at your side? How is it with you?
It's been great. It's been great. We thank God for his mercy.
Good. Okay, for now it's me and you. Viewers, so you're tuning to Between the Lines. Between the Lines today, 19th of May 2025, and on a program like this, what we do is bring all those headlines, news that made the news during the week, and both analyzing and looking at them together. Raji, let's start with the breaking news from the UK. I don't know if you're following that. We had that as breaking news in our charts. This afternoon, the UK Prime Minister Stemmer. Let's see a video clip on that, then we'll talk. Let's see a small clip on that.
Energy prices, agri-food, trade, and more, bringing down bills, creating jobs, and protecting our borders. We've delivered this progress through hard work together at every level. Our teams have identified the areas where we can make a real difference while protecting our sovereignty and independence. And I want to thank the negotiating teams on both sides. And I want to thank all of you for your engagement on this. The documents that we have before us today represent a strong package that will benefit all of our peoples. So this is an important moment. We must now move swiftly together on the detailed work to make these plans a reality.
Okay. Viewers, what you just saw there is the UK Prime Minister Stemmer. Keir Stemmer is giving out. There's a kind of a change in the Brexit. We all know the Brexit happened some years back, but today the UK sealed a deal that makes like a reset of all they did during the Brexit. A deal that changes everything totally. So what we're seeing also is an agreement to go back into business as Europeans, as one body. Also, the European Commissioner Ursula was there in that meeting. So it looks like a different turn of events, Raji. UK looks like, I mean, what that means is UK is coming back into the European Union, and there will be this gradual process of coming back, trade, movement, and border issues. A lot of those things now will be looked into. Raji, what do you think? I said this that time they joined anyway. I said, listen, this Brexit thing will not last. I don't see how it will last. I knew, because they were like the founding father of the EU. So what would you say of this new development, Raji?
Brexit ab initio was a serious disruption of everything British, everything European.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing that the conservative government, or the Labour government in power now, is putting ego aside and doing what it believes is best in the interest of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
I see a gradual or maybe an accelerated rollback of all the negative effects of Brexit on Britain. Yes.
Negative effect of the Brexit on Britain. Yes, a lot. In fact, they were more at loss than gain. But you see, Raji, what will happen is some the other parties might use this as a leverage to seek more votes, because not everybody will agree to this.
No,
Not every.
but you know,
Mhm.
even the vote at Brexit was so close that it actually divided the country.
Was so
Divided
close,
the
it
country.
actually
Yes.
divided the country.
The
Okay, well,
country. Yes.
let's hold tight now. The discussion gets better when we're more too. So joining us from Toronto, Canada, viewers, is our man George Chuku. George, how come you're far away?
Well,
Yeah.
today is a beautiful holiday in Canada, so we're
Ooh,
celebrating Victoria Day. So
okay.
yeah, so I'm just reporting and then saying hello to the viewers from around the world from here
Mhm.
in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada.
Wow. Nice. So you are still representing. Thank you so much. But you guys seem to have more holidays than most part of the world. I mean, it's fun
We
all
do have a lot.
Canada.
We do have a lot. We do.
You
We do
look like
have a lot of statutory holidays. We
uh-huh.
have a national holidays. Like
Yeah.
this one is a national holiday, so
Okay.
we do
Okay.
have several.
All right. All right, George. It's good to have you with us here.
My
Raji's
pleasure.
here too from Lagos, Nigeria. And
Yes.
yeah, we just kick started. George, it's a breaking news that we just want to run through before we go into other issue. It looks as if the Englishman is suffering from being lonely. It looks as if they were too lonely. The cold was getting at them, so they want to come back to the fold. So this afternoon we saw the UK Prime Minister. We had him talk on the new plan. He said he's sealing a deal with the EU to reset the deal that was on Brexit. You know, the Brexit issued years back. So we're saying, does this mean that? What does this mean for you, George, from Canada? You guys are also affiliated with the English people. What do you see with this new development?
Well, I mean, when they originally, see, political ideology is something that, we really understand because some politicians, most of the conservatives, they come from up down, while the
Okay.
liberals come from down up. And this is what you're seeing. And sometimes we bring this political ideology that might not be very popular or might not even in the long run benefit, the whole entire nation and all that are concerned. But what we've seen with Brexit is that, they have been having since the exit has been a whole lot of we see what is done to the pound sterling. We see what is done to the economic welfare of UK. So I think sometimes when you have a plan that is not really working to the best interest of your own people, especially all round, then you have to rethink it. And this is what is exactly that is happening. So you see some of them that why another person will come and then from the far right and begin to change some narratives, and then all of a sudden in the long run it's not working. So some will come from the left and want to shift it a little bit to the middle. And that's what I'm seeing here with this whole entire thing.
That's what you're seeing here. And exactly what Raji said. Raji, there was that proclamation when the deal was signed today. The Prime Minister said this. He said, Britain is back on the war stage. So that means that all this while they were not on the war stage. Raji, that means they were, they were behind the war stage or something. Go ahead. Okay, I think we lost Raji there. George, did you
Yes.
hear that? Yeah, so the man made that declaration. Britain is back on the world stage. And like you just said it, yes, a lot of things in favor of them. But George, something might happen with this. So the other parties might use this also as a game point to seek more popularity, more votes, more, because not everybody also will agree to this. George, what do you say?
Well, you can never have any particular ideology that everybody will agree to. Some come from the middle, some come from left, some come from right, some come from far left, some come from far right. So you will always have people that disagree with your narratives or whatever ideology that you bring, and what happens with that is there are some people that actually operate in wisdom because they don't only try to bring ideologies, but they bring ideology that they will, test through time tested and panic proven. They say, okay, this is going to be good for us in the long run, but it's also going to be good for us in the short run. But some would say, want to look in the long run, not knowing what the state of affairs will be in that long run. But they know that it might be bad for them in the short run, but they want to project it, but they might not be there long enough to reach that time when those benefits will start coming. So you see, political instability always will happen. And what happens with that is another individual will come in, just like the Labour Party came in and then started discussing. They are interested in the good of the workers in the state. Therefore, anything that they can do to increase the economy welfare of the people get more jobs, people, the state of affairs, people being happy because they are getting the goods that they want at a cheaper rate, because of good negotiation with other countries around and all that is. So those are the things that we have to think about because somebody will come with an ideology, want to separate yourself from every other country. And when you do that, in the long run, other countries will begin to seek other countries that they will affiliate with. And that's exactly what is happening with Donald Trump today with the tariff situation. You see, none of the things he planned with the tariff is working because he wanted to do America first. But when you are negotiating with other countries, it cannot be my country first. You have to find a common level of understanding that will be profitable to everybody that is involved. And that is what we see sometimes with, politicians or, even those that have not been in politics. They come in, they want to put their ideology in and they force it and choke people with it. And then in the long run, they start backsliding. And that's what you're seeing with US today. They are liberally backsliding. But they will not tell you that what they were doing was not right. They will tell you, that this backup plan, it actually is the original plan, but that's not true.
This backup plan is actually the original plan. Raji, you're back, you're there. Yes, you were going to say something. Yes, tell us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, I agree with George. If not in total, at least to a very long extent, that isolation will never ever help a country. We are in a period where collaboration is key. One country can't do it alone. Yes.
Collaboration is key,
But you see,
exactly that.
You see, to add to what Raji is saying, even in the past, ancient history and ancient time, civilization, no country ever depended on themselves. No people ever depended on themselves. There's always, even though when we did not have a way of trading with money or international currency, we still traded with barter. And it was working in those days. You see people go to other countries, what they specialize in, they sell those things and then they bring things back to themselves.
Exactly.
The things that we need to understand. It has always been that an isolated country can never succeed because they do not specialize in everything.
And those were the words. Those were the words of Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister. He said UK will take Brussels rules. They will abide by all the regulations and they will pay into the coffers too, because this means business for UK. The last time I went through some of what they were gaining during that Brexit time, I noticed that it was even the UK that was gaining more, George and Raji. They were, because they were the founding founders, one of the founders of that alliance. So they had so much benefits at that point. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. It came as a breaking news, but you guys been able to decipher it well. Thank you. Let's move on now to other issues. There are strong issues going around. George, tell us. Your prime minister met with Zelensky in Rome. I think the Rome ground, the Vatican ground, is a good place to seal deals, make agreements, because that's like the ground zero of spirituality for a lot of people. Tell us, George, what was the prime minister telling Zelensky of Ukraine?
Well, basically, the prime minister was, trying to reaffirm Canadian stand with Ukraine, and he doesn't. Canada has been with Ukraine for the longest, and Canada continues to be with Ukraine for the, in the near future. That's what Justin Trudeau started, and that's where Mark Carney continues. So it's just to let him know that we are behind him. If the negotiation between Russia and Ukraine works, all of us will be happy. But if they decide to be obstinate and continue to fire back and to want to take over, Canada will stand with Ukraine completely, absolutely, and without any reservations. So that's exactly what he's trying to let him know. We are behind you. We will support you, because we believe that the war is unnecessary. It was orchestrated by whatever that fueled it, but it is time for us to stop. But if they continue, we're behind you, financially and otherwise.
Raji, strong words from George there. Now, but when Russia sees this, he sees support on their enemy, and will this escalate more tension?
Whatever dialogue is happening, whatever is being discussed, as long as peace is not on the front burner, I'm sure all the countries are actually setting up Ukraine for more bashing. It's better for both countries to stop their losses at this moment and talk peace. And it's better for Europe to start talking peace instead of trying to flex their tiny muscles and pretending to be they have any powers to exert.
But you have to understand something, Raji. It takes two to tango. You cannot have peace. You cannot negotiate by yourself, because what we see now is Russia is actually showing that they are just playing games and they don't really want to negotiate peace, because their goal is to take over Ukraine. But for you to have peace and for you to negotiate,
Russia does not have that intention to take over Ukraine. Russia had taken over part of Crimea.
Why is Russia then? Why is Russia, every time there's a deal to have a ceasefire, they continue to fire? Why?
Russia has gotten the warm pot that it wants, and it got it long ago. Russia has no intention whatsoever of even moving an inch into any other country. Russia had no intention for any wars.
You're speaking for your own. You're speaking for your own opinion. You're not talking for Russia. You cannot talk for Russia, because Russia is doing what they are doing intentionally and purposefully. So what you are saying is your own opinion.
It is not.
It is your opinion.
Jeffrey Sachs have even taken us back to 1990, when Gorbachev and the then president had an understanding that America or NATO would not move an inch eastwards towards Russia. And on that basis, the Berlin Wall was collapsed. Russia removed all its influence on most of these the socialist countries, until Clinton came in 1994 and started the move towards bringing all those former Eastern Europeans into NATO. Russia had no intention whatsoever for any to go to war with anything. In fact, Russia is interested has always been interested, historically
It's so
been
amazing
interested
why.
in Europe.
Mhm.
Is so interested in Europe, a unification
Okay.
of Europe,
Okay.
because
Yes.
Russia is essentially part of Europe.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this.
Uh-huh.
One thing, you can pontificate all you want to for Russia, but their actions are speaking a different language.
I'm not
And this is
pontificating
exactly what
anything.
you need to understand. What we are going by is not yesterday's dreams. They can become today's necessities. But in this particular case, what we are judging by is the ongoing war for the past 3 years almost, and then the ongoing disregard to the negotiations of to ceasefire in order for them to negotiate. So you have to learn from this. You can't just be speaking for Russia because of what you think. It's not what you think. We are talking about what is happening on ground and what we have seen so far
I'm
in the
telling
war.
you the facts as I see them.
Okay.
But it doesn't line up with their
Your
actions.
point of-
Russia has
It doesn't line
gotten
up with their
uranium,
actions.
and Russia is not intended, because Russia has, the moment you commit to war, you are stopping your development. Russia
Okay.
has more interest in this development than going to war and wasting money. We are in the period of peaceful rise.
But what you're divorcing, you are divorcing the idea of personal infiltration of ideas, personal
Which personal
individual.
infiltration
If
ideas?
you had negotiated with the Russians when this war started, you would have seen that most of them, the majority of them, would not have gone to war, because Russia understand that Ukraine is a part and parcel of them. They might be called a different country, but they share values, and they used to share geopolitical landscape. But right now, as it stands, what we are basing all our ideas and all our narratives on is basically what has been happening.
What has been
Russia
happening?
talks about
Gentlemen,
they feel like they act as if they want peace, but their actions are not showing that.
Not showing that. Okay. George, honestly, I'm with you on this one. But Raji is saying his own too. Every man with his own viewpoint. Viewers, we are talking between the lines, Monday, 19th, 2025. Gentlemen, let's come to a small news that some of our viewers need to know, so the news can be passed around. Back far in Nigeria, Lagos State, Nigeria has begin. They said they are beginning from the July 1st an enforcement plan to ban single-use plastic. I really don't know what that is. Raji, you're going to help us here. Single-use plastic, they said, will be banned. So we want our viewers to have it in mind that from July 1st, there's a certain kind of plastic you cannot use. And Raji, tell us more, please.
Now, you see, plastics, we found that a lot of plastics break down, especially when you package them with some oils. When you put it, you can observe it when you put palm oil in a plastic container. After some time, you see that it seems as if the oil is eating into the plastic. So regularly, do all these cheap plastics leach into food? And there are some plastic that can be used many times, and there are some plastic that you are allowed to use only once. So it is those single-use plastics that the government is concerned about. You use it once, you dispose it, it is recycled, so that it doesn't get into the ecosystem. It's dangerous actually, because a lot of research has been done, and we have found microplastics in almost every cell of human body now. In fact, most of the sea products now contain microplastics, which is dangerous to the human being. They have found microplastics in sperms. That has a very serious impact on productivity. So it is a good thing. In fact,
Okay.
when it comes to styrofoam is particularly
Styrofoam.
dangerous.
Yes, it's
But
more
it's
of the
particularly
styrofoam.
dangerous, yes.
Yes.
Especially when you put something warm or hot in it. It's particularly
Okay, so
dangerous.
that means the styrofoam has been banned since 2024, like we heard.
Yes.
And did people adhere to that ban?
Yeah, they have to.
They have to. Okay, viewers, you're hearing it from an expert on ground also. So single use plastic will be no more in use from July 1st. And what the health commissioner also says is it's a general practice. It is not like just Lagos State. It is a standard also that the world, yes, that they are meeting up with other countries.
Right. Yes, Sir Mark.
Yes.
You notice that in most of Europe now,
yes,
when they want to wrap food, they wrap it in paper or something
yes.
degradable. Yes.
Yes.
So it's all part of this, all part of the process. Yes.
All part of the process. Okay. So in his words, he says Lagos is trying to align with the global best practice when it comes to things like this. So that's a good one, Reggie. Thank you very much. So viewers, you are tuned into our Monday startup program, Between the Lines. George, we hope you're there, George.
Yes, I am.
Oh, good. Good to have you, George. So you have the news on the single plastic thing. It says something that aligns with the practice around the world. It's not just Lagos State that is trying to do this. Control some of these materials. George, what do you say about that?
Well, yeah, they're following suit, actually. If you come to Canada right now, many stores are no longer offering plastic bags, when you buy merchandise. So what they are doing now is they are giving you some bags that are reusable and, unlike the plastic. Actually, one of the major problems we've had around the world is the use of plastic is clogged a lot of oceans and a lot of seas. So as a result of that, because we have not mastered in the art of, for instance, Nigeria, if you go to a lot of cities, you will see heaps and heaps of these plastics that are not able to degenerate or and it becomes an eyesore, and it actually interrupts the ground from being fertilized, to be good for planting. So I think that reduction in those things will be very helpful in Nigeria. In certain countries, actually, they are still using it, but what they have done is they have a way for everybody. You cannot put your plastic in the garbage. You put it in a recycle bin. So when they bring out the recycle bin, they melt it, they recycle it again, and they use it to reproduce. So that's what Canada is doing. But what has happened is that because of the nuisance of throwing plastics all over the place and they don't know what to do with it, they have stopped stores from giving you plastics. Yes.
Wow. Thank you, George. George, awesome. Raji, great. Viewers, let's take a small break. You guys are hearing, hear these wonderful tips we're bringing out. So Lagosians, Nigerians, Africans, be aware some of these plastics will be going off your counter, your stores and everywhere, and for your safety, your good health, your hygiene and everything. So let's come on the other side, gentlemen. Thank you.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
They
Elevate your new week. Fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update, Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis, and the most attention-grabbing lines, Deciphering world event.
Yes, viewers, I hope you can hear me. Welcome back to Between the Lines. Yes, I'm here with Raji, I'm here with George, and we're doing our Between the Lines 19th of May 2025. Raji, let's come to something that has been, I don't know why sometimes very trivial things go viral. I mean, they take the news headlines and everybody talks. Anyway, our president was in Rome. Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in Rome, and it was nice to see him mingle with other world leaders, and at that inaugural ceremony for the new Pope. Raji, tell us, how did you see the president in Rome? Or before we talk, let's run this video. Let's run the video. Yes, so that's our president in Rome with the new Pope and Pope Leo. The Pope Leo was being inaugurated as the new Pope of the Catholic Church. So President Tinubu was there. Raji, does this add some colors to his? I mean, what does this mean for him, for the president?
Well, he was just invited to the inauguration of the new Pope. So there's nothing
fantastic about it.
Yeah, nothing fantastic. Just part of the protocol of being of recognizing somehow that Nigeria has a large Catholic population, and there are a lot of cardinals who have been prominent in the Vatican. Okay. Therefore, Nigeria's name is there. Yes.
Nice.
And with the killings that seems to have been targeted against Christians, it is necessary that Nigeria's presence in the world scene among the Catholics, for instance, should give some confidence to the Christian foes that they'll be protected in Nigeria. So I don't see anything. Yeah.
Good one. Okay, anyway, so one of the guests also there that day was the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi. And a lot of people were excited to see him there also. So that's Peter Obi with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I think one-time Governor Fayemi. Is that correct?
Ekiti State. Yes,
Ekiti State. Okay. So yes, it shows. I like the lines you use, Raji.
Yeah.
We have quite a number of Catholic faithfuls, and also showing this presence there adds to who we are too. We have so many Catholics.
Even though Peter Obi is Anglican, I think.
He's Anglican. No, I don't think
and he was not an official guest.
He was not an official.
He was there on his own volition.
Yes.
And therefore, he didn't have to have any audition with the Pope.
Okay. One other thing before, let's bring in George. George, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
Nice. George, we're talking about the event during the weekend at my place, not too far from me, Rome. The Vatican had all world leaders. We saw your prime minister. We saw the vice president of the United States, and our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was also there. And we also saw Peter Obi. So, George, did you observe that event? What was your take?
Yes, I did. So I observed also when our president arrived on Saturday, and then on Sunday with the with the Pope, Pope Leo the 14th. So I saw that, and I saw the statement that he made, that the unity of faith, or tearing down the religious bigotry and making sure that every faith respects one another. It's a very good narrative. It's a good conversation, and I hope that it will be instituted in our own country, because politicians have mastered the art of using religion and tribal sentiments to divide the people. Most Nigerians don't feel those tribal nonsense that we are feeling, that they are using to divide it against us. But a lot of them are making a lot of noise based on that. So we need to learn how to tolerate one another, being in the same environment, in the same country, in the same state, in the same cities, to respect each other. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean because you're a Muslim that I cannot collaborate with you in every way. So there ought to be a level playing field for everybody to operate in. What is right for the Jews is right for the Uganda too. So that's what we need to learn. But I am very happy though, when I saw the president, our president, shaking hands, with Leo and everything else. And it was a
You can still talk. That's the president when he was coming into Vatican, Rome, and meeting with some delegates from the embassy, from the Italian High Commission. George, go ahead. I said you can still talk.
including the son of our president, Sheyi Tinubu, who actually was heading towards shaking hands with the Pope, but was let go, in a diplomatic kind of way. So these are the things that are happening. So we're very thankful, that, although that our president is a Muslim, he decided to embrace this, inauguration of the Pope and all that kind of stuff. So, which is very good. So it speaks very good for our country. But also another thing that we were saying is that's a very good ground for some political conversation and political negotiations. We saw, Mark Carney of Canada talking with Zelensky in the same place. We also saw that, there was a meeting between our president and Peter Obi in the same ground. So maybe this will be a very good, solid ground for, meeting our minds, or meeting halfway, because we are missing when we are divided. United we stand. We have to learn how to be able to use, our differences, to merge, to bring it together, because God that put Nigeria together, or that allowed it to, be that way, saw that diversity can be our strength if we know how to use it very well.
Correct. Very true. Let's see that Sheyi's okay, Raji. Somehow, I mean, you've lived in the West, Raji, and you know that protocol matters in events like this. You don't just break protocol, you don't break lines, you follow how they've planned it. So seeing the president's son trying to force himself through, how do you feel, Raji?
He wasn't trying to force himself into anything.
Okay.
He I think he needs to be retrained to understand that on the international scene, he's a nobody. He has to accept that, and therefore not put himself into an embarrassing situation for himself in the country. He shouldn't have even attempted to follow his father into the place, because the people were restricted. Not even Obi couldn't even enter. So if he has entered, he should have known what to do, instead of trying to be a guy and go and shake the Pope's hand for bragging rights. but he was definitely steered away to protocol. Okay, look, you follow your daddy. That you have been given audience to even enter doesn't mean that you also shake the hands of the Pope. You are not on the list of those who are coming to shake the hands of the Pope.
Okay.
He wasn't forcing himself into anything.
Reggie, one of the major problems we have as Nigerians is most of the time we tend not to follow political and diplomatic protocols. Number one, they should have known when they arrived there that the son ought not to even stand in line and embarrass himself. It should have been let them know. They should have been, these things are shared with every nation. They let them know. So you see, prior to, if they have engaged and then take nothing for granted, they would have known that the only person that would have been allowed was the president. But what it is that sometimes all these diplomatic and political protocols, when they share them, but because of our culture, they want to hijack and do otherwise. And that's where the embarrassment comes in.
Yes.
That's where the embarrassment comes in. Viewers, I'm taking my time to listen to George and Raji on this one. So Nigerians understand this. We know a lot of Nigerians understand it, but let's put it more into our way of doing things. Protocols should be observed. At events like this, you don't just bounce and want to cut lines. We don't do that, and for no reason. I mean, the Father is enough. He has represented us. So there's no other person that should want to force himself into anything. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's go on to the news coming in from Romania. Says a pro-EU candidate has won the election, and that is Nicosa Dan. Nicosa Dan has won the election in Romania. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it, but that's the news we just got. And it's a good one for the Romanians because this man will be able to negotiate a lot with EU. He believes in EU. He's pro-EU, and he's going to come in and bring his own ideas too, and also gain from the EU, the collaboration of European Union. So that's the man there. Nicosa Dan is his name, and he won the votes. He won almost about what you call clear win, 64% of the votes went to him. So that's the news there. Also another news coming in is all the way from America. George, tell us, how is Joe Biden doing with his prostate cancer?
Well, he's doing, I guess he must be doing well. The news came out and that he had a prostate cancer that was aggressive and actually is so aggressive that it's affecting his bones. And so that was it. But the question has been, yes, in America, he just wasn't too long ago that he stepped down. Shouldn't they have been able to actually detect this prior to? Because they're dealing with the best medical doctors in the world, and they, even as a ex-president, they always are checked. And so I'm not quite sure how they missed this, that it will come to the point where PST examination ought to be done on them periodically because of his age. Yeah, so which was not done. So, I'm just wondering why they missed it to the point of it becoming so aggressive, to the point of affecting his bones. They could have caught this a little earlier, because prostate cancer is preventable, especially when you take your test, periodically. They can detect those things, and it's so easy for them to prevent it from, festering and becoming dangerous to the individual concerned.
Normally, every man is likely going to die with a prostate issue. A prostate
Not
issue.
every man. Some men.
Some
men. Because I'm not going to die of prostate issue.
I didn't say you are going to die. I didn't say we are going to. You are not listening to
every
me.
Man.
Every man is likely. Please. Every man is like to die with a prostate
Some
issue,
men,
not
some
from,
men,
not
some men.
from. Listen to me. Didn't you
Yes,
go
sir.
to school? Don't you understand English? I say with, not from. Every man, as long as you're a man, you are most likely going to have a prostate issue, and you may die with it, but you not die from it.
Not dying from it.
And it is earlier. It is better to be detected earlier. I'm surprised, like you, like Sir George has said, that
Mhm.
they didn't discover it so much so early enough with finding. When Prince Charles, excuse me, when King Charles had some issue with his prostate,
Mhm.
he announced publicly that I was going to go traditional, herbal, not
Yes,
go
yes.
by. Yes.
I'm
I
coming to
still
that.
want to know. I still want
Mhm.
to know what he did and why they are not recommending that for Biden.
Biden. Very good. I want to come to that issue too. Raji, thank you for bringing up that. I think Prince King Charles should be a testimonial to the power of African medicine. You know, he should be
Not traditional medicine, not African
uh,
or herbal
traditional
medicine.
medicine. Yes, yeah, herbal medicine. He should be able to tell the white people that, listen, this is the best solution for you when you have these issues. Anyway, thank you very much, George and Raji. Let's
And
come to. Mhm.
by the way, congratulations to the Romania president. Actually, he won over George Semini, who
Yes,
is the far right individual. So,
yeah,
I think it's a good idea for them, especially in this polarized world that we are living in now. Good for Romania, actually.
good for Romania, actually. Thank you very much, George. George and Raji, let's come deep now. There's a governor in our state, the governor of Kaduna State, north of Nigeria, is saying something very strong. Yes, we've said that several times here, George. I remember you saying it too. He says poverty is fueling insecurity in North Nigeria. That's Governor
Nonsense.
Uba Sani. Um,
Nonsense.
he says many young people are vulnerable to being recruited by these groups, these bandits and terrorists, because they are in poverty. They are exempted from making money from everything. So they choose to be recruited and causing menace in our society.
Is
Gentlemen,
is
let's talk about this. Go ahead.
is being what would I say? You will have heard me saying nonsense. There
Yes.
has been a deliberate, almost deliberate policy from the 60s to impoverish most of the people on the north, especially the Hausa population, to make them heavers of wood and drawers of water for the aristocratic Fulani parasites. So what is he saying? He's probably a Fulani man himself. You cannot find a Fulani man as a beggar. But every year, the population of Hausa people roaming the streets as Almanjiri, out of school, increases. I did my youth service in 1980 in Kano. I left the dining hall in tears when I saw around me urchins, children who are waiting for me to finish my food so that they can eat the remnants. And if you make the mistake of going from your table to go and fetch water, by the time you come, they will have carried your food. That population has increased regularly to the point that the North is now transporting the deliberately bred, poverty-stricken, uneducated illiterate from the North down to the South. Why is it talking about it now? This has been going on for more than 40 years, and they know it.
And they know it.
Well,
George.
you
Mhm.
know, this is like what Raji said. It's a deliberate attempt to malign the government of Asiwaju. To make it feel like Asiwaju is doing something wrong. Why? While during the times of Buhari, what was the difference between then and now? And then what was the difference between the times of Jonathan and even now? Because or the Boko Haram people that we have today, when did it start? How did it start? Were they there before? Or was it just during Asiwaju that he came and then all of a sudden the government of Asiwaju is bringing the Northerners into poverty, and that's what's driving, these young people to go into Boko Haram? What about the times when these Boko Haram people, they go and then they start causing all kinds of havoc all over the cities. And when they are arrested, they want to make sure that they are released also, and then given virgins to marry. So these are the things that has been since the 50s. There is no change in the conversation. The only change we see right now is they beginning to see the importance of education. And then trying to also, malign and put aside the Hausa people and bring poverty on them is affecting the whole entire northern part of the Nigerian. So what we need to really, this is a man just trying, just the same thing that they have been doing. Whenever a southerner is in power, they want to make sure that they bring all kinds of mess. Even when that southerner is correcting some ills that the northerner did, they will still make sure that they are putting that southerner down, or putting a strategy as if saying that, the cause of why people are going into terrorism is because Asiwaju is in power. What about during Buhari's time? What about them? And it's been happening for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. George, let me just put in a word. Jonathan built schools almost across the whole of the north, Almanjiri schools. They were mocking him, that they said, okay, after he had built his schools, nobody went to those schools. Those schools now are used as maybe cow sheds or things. Kwankwaso was mocking him that he's wasting his money with Almanjiri because it's a deliberate policy. The Hausas form the majority in the north. The Hausas have been overcome by a minority Fulani parasitic group, and they are determined to keep them down. To keep them down. No Hausa across the whole of the north. Among the governors and their political representatives, there is no Hausa man. And yet the Hausa people are in majority. The Hausa people are the beggars, are the Almanjiris, are the hewers of wood and drawers of water for the parasitic Fulani people. This governor talking in Kaduna. Kaduna is not a Fulani state. It's not a Hausa state. The locals in Kaduna have been put aside, and then it's being dominated by a Fulani man, and he's talking nonsense. Let them go and check themselves. Recently, more than 80 people were brought in from Katsina to come and be working in Dangote place. These are uneducated adults, uneducated, illiterate. They don't have no idea of what they are doing. And they were brought in from Kano, from Katsina to come and be working in Lagos. And I don't see the governor of Lagos State talking. You cannot import your poverty-stricken people into a community and disrupt us. There should be across the South now a banning of all non-natives who are doing Okada or Marwa business. You cannot stop Okada business in the north, and then they will all bring their the motorcycles to the south, and be causing havoc in the south.
These are very deep issues, gentlemen. Gentlemen, I think we need to make time to talk about insecurity, terrorism, and all of this discussion more on this platform, because sometimes it's mixed up. The man talking is not giving a very good proportion of how it is, because if we say the Fulanis are the one committing the crime, they are the one in Boko Haram and everything, then that doesn't mean that the number doesn't equate, because we're saying The Hausas
the Fulani are not in Boko Haram. The Fulani are not in Boko Haram. Those who are in Boko Haram are the poor, suffering masses. But I won't be surprised if their commander is Fulani.
But we need to get the figures accurately anyway. Anyway, guys.
How are you going to get the figures? How are you going to get the figures? Recently, Zulum was complaining that the Mate Barracks was going to be taken over. This is a very strategic military outpost.
But on top of that, on Friday we saw the purchase and the launch of
what happened to the Tucano helicopters they bought during Buhari's time or during Jonathan's time? What happened to them? Why are they launching this?
Why are they launching
this? Yes. What happened to the Tucano? Have they ceded them to the terrorists? Have they deliberately let the terrorists capture them?
Okay, viewers, what you're seeing there is the procured Augusta Tracker Power helicopter, they call it. It's lightweight, twin engine, and multi-role aircraft designed for combat and surveillance. We hope they will be able to use this to gain some momentum on the fight over terrorists. George, when we see crafts like this, we the white man having this is a good machine to take away the villains. Is that not so, George?
What happens to the Tucano helicopters from the US, which are more sophisticated than this one? What happened to them?
Whether they bought sophisticated or the best equipment in the whole world and bring it to Nigeria to fight terrorism, it is not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Okay, we have heard of some of these equipments that they have had. What have they used it for? They can clear the Boko Haram any day they want to, but they don't want to. We saw.
Why waste our money to buy all these things? Why waste?
We're wasting our money because the point is this: when you go after Boko Haram, the people actually that are fueling them, the leaders of the Fulani oligarchy that are fueling them, will warn you that you are treading on a very, very dangerous ground, and they'll tell you you're killing our brothers. They will warn you. Why is it? We have all drones. We have drones. Drones can discover where these people are. They know where they are. If they want to destroy these people, they will send drones in those areas and massacre them. No, they don't want to do that. This is all political games that they're playing. We know. My mother used to tell me that my child is greater than me. It's just a joke. It doesn't matter how much you can grow, how far you can grow. You can never be greater than your parents. They are still your parents. They brought you forth. So what we are saying here is we can talk all we want to. Look at the Kanu governor trying to blame poverty on Boko Haram. What happened during the times of Jonathan when there was wealth all over the place? Money was flowing, yafu. What happened in that time? What was there, Boko Haram? All these things. And let me tell you something. To them going to capture some of these young girls and taking them, it's also part of the deal. They did it intentionally in order to, make sure that they are still populating, because most of them are men. So how are they going to continue populating if they allow them to stay in Sambisa Forest and other places without, having women for them to have kids, so that they will remain, the most populist people? So forget all this nonsense. They can buy this all they want to. Let us see what they can do with it. Because if they want to destroy Boko Haram, they would have been done so many years ago. So it's all a game, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow. Okay.
The mercenaries, the mercenaries that Jonathan employed were using drones. They were not going to combat. They were using drones, and they were eliminating these people until they were told to stop. They're told to stop.
Viewers, this is it. George, thank you. You said that with a passion. It's sad that so much money will be put into acquiring these equipment, and it will probably just fly for a few times and they'll pack it and it will rust. Another government will come, buy another one. Our money keep going to the wrong place.
That is if they are not captured by Boko Harams and taken away. Like
that's another thing that can happen.
Armory at Mate Barracks.
That's another thing that can happen, George. George, that's a good one from Raji.
Well, those capturing, I think those capturing is not intentionally them. It's intentionally allowing them to capture this, to take these equipments, and when they are being depleted. That's what I believe. I believe that every time they go into some of these barracks and are able to make away with a lot of things, it's internally planned, orchestrated, and accomplished in order to ensure that they have the ammunition that they need. If they're not being supplied with ammunition by those people who are working with them. Let me tell you something. The reason why it is almost impossible for this Boko Haram thing to stop is simply because of what they are gaining as a result. Let me tell you, the oil is in the south, and they have discovered oil in the north. But have you seen that most of the minerals that are discovered in the north is always state-owned? It is no longer country-owned. The gold and the everything. And when they find it in the north, they hide it from everybody else. But the oil, whatever that comes from the south becomes the national cake. But whatever that comes from the north becomes a state cake. So why is that? Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is it. So we need to understand what the internal narratives and what the conspiracies and everything that is happening among us. These are the things. So let's make sure that we understand that.
Do SSM the favor of getting to this route. Find out you can. Yes, you can. You can go down.
Ladies, I just want to salute everybody that listening to us today because I have to go. And I just want to appreciate you, Matt Godwin and Olayinka Raji. It's been a wonderful one. So please let us continue to bring out the truth and the balanced facts, politically and otherwise, to the people. I appreciate you guys. But I will say, viewers from around the world, thank you so much. Greetings from Canada. You take care.
All right, George. Thank you, George. So Raji, I also want to thank you for coming. We've done it, viewers, between the lines, and we've done our thing, Raji, George, and myself. So till we come again Wednesday. Good, Raji. Thank you. Till we come again, let's keep but Raji, regardless of all we're going through, we still have that belief and faith that all will be well someday. Is that not so?
Without that hope, there'll be no reason for this country. Hope.
Nice.
Yes.
Hope. Nice. Thank you very much. All right, viewers. Bye-bye.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.